So we were discussing how we all are faced with a lot of stress in today's times. And there are so many questions about how to deal with stress. So many factors in our lives are beyond our control, actually. So in such a situation, it becomes extremely difficult for us to be in charge of ourselves. And especially if we are in the medical profession, then essentially what we are dealing with is pain. There is so much pain in our patients' lives, and that is what basically we are dealing with. So when so many patients come to us and they keep talking about their problems, they keep talking about their situation, sometimes a typical doctor is faced with so much distress internally. How can I help this patient? How can I genuinely reach out to this patient? And that's why it's very important for doctors to heal themselves. Physician, heal thyself. And as part of that, we had a little introduction about meditation, how meditation soothes our inner self, and how there is two types of meditation, passive meditation and active meditation. And then we discussed how, this is in part one, we discussed how active meditation actually keeps us alert and helps us on a very practical way. Passive meditation sometimes may not actually be really practical in today's distracted times. And last time we were discussing how one of the best forms of active meditation is chanting the names of God. And we were discussing about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We did a practical also. And I remember how last time so many of you suggested that we should have a practical where all of us could chant. And last time, for 2.5 minutes, we chanted together. We are going to have a practical today also, and we are going to share some personal experiences also. So this is how we have reached part 3, and today we'll speak on part 3. So we'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we are discussing about the practical benefits and the bliss involved in mantra meditation. And before I share my personal story, and before somebody else shares their personal story, I would like to speak to you about one story from our scriptures, which is presented in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, at a very critical juncture, there are 12 parts in this Bhagavat Puran, Bhagavat Mahapuran. And after completing the 5 parts, there is a 6th part. So we are in the center of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it starts with a very amazing story. The story is about a part in modern day, it is called Kanauj. Kanauj is a part in Uttar Pradesh. And this is a story that is set in ancient Kanauj, which was called Kanyakubja. So in Kanyakubja, there was a Brahmin, and his name was Ajamil. And the story is mentioned as per Srila Shukdev Goswami, the speaker of the Bhagavatam, that he heard it personally from Agastya Rishi. Agastya Rishi is a very famous personality. And Agastya Rishi personally, when he was worshipping his Murti, then as he was touching the feet of the Murti, he told this story to Shukdev Goswami. And then Shukdev Goswami is speaking the story to Parikshit Maharaj. So he says how many years back, lakhs of years back, in this place called Kanyakubja, there was a very young boy, and his name was Ajamil, and his different qualities are mentioned. He was mild by nature. He was also extremely learned in scriptures, and his mind and his senses were controlled. So no bad habits. He was truthful. Even in his tongue, he had good habits. He was respectful to Guru, all the devatas, and he was free from false pride. A lot of good qualities he has, but no pride. He's kind-hearted and he's well-behaved, and he never ever spoke nonsense to anybody. So he has all these good qualities, and very interestingly, it is mentioned that he also had no envy for anyone. So here is a person who's almost looking full of all the good qualities that we could think of. And this person was told by his father one day. His father wanted to do some seva, and his father told him that, can you get some leaves, some flowers, some fruits from the forest? And they were staying in a village. So such a nice boy, full of all good qualities, was engaged by his father in getting some articles for deity worship, Murti Puja, from the forest. And Ajamil, as a dutiful son, he went to the forest, but something happened in the forest. What happened is, in the forest, there was one man and there was one woman who were basically not supposed to be there. They were hiding from society. And somewhere deep in the forest, they were doing something which Ajamil should not have seen. So they are doing something which they want to do somewhere away from the village in the forest. And Ajamil, he is full of all good qualities and he's on some seva, but he happens to see this scene. And as you can see in the picture, he immediately hid himself and he thought that, why did I see this? I should not have seen this. And what happened is, Ajamil immediately left that place. He went back to his father and he told that somehow it was not possible to do that seva that day. But sometimes what happens is, we see one picture and that picture sticks to our eyes. It gets imprinted on our heart. And this is exactly what happened, because Ajamil had never ever seen anything like this. He was a pure person. So because he's a pure person, his heart is also very clean. मराठीमध्ये आपण म्हणतो ना, एक त्याच्या हृदयाची पाटी एकदम पूर्णपणे साफ होती. आणि त्या साफ हृदयाच्या पाटीवर सगळ्या छान छान गोष्टी त्या दिवशीपर्यंत लिहिल्या होत्या. But that day he saw something and somehow it agitated him and he thought about it. And in the Gita, 2nd chapter, 62, Krishna says, Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodho vijayate. That when you contemplate something, then you develop a desire for it. See, in all our lives, whenever we thought about something, we may not have it in our hands and there may not be a possibility to get it also. But by thinking over it again and again and again, we develop a desire for it. So this Ajamil Brahmin, he desired this woman. Actually, this woman was not of a good character. It's very clear. That's why she is in the forest at that time. But he desired this woman. He was married to a very nice Brahmin girl, but he threw her out of his home and he brought this woman to his home. He married her, and over a period of time, he had 10 sons from this woman. But it was not so easy to even get married to this woman, because this woman had a lot of bad habits and she had a great demand for money, gold, riches, gifts and all that. So Ajamil Brahmin had to get into wrong activities also. So slowly, to satisfy this woman, he started stealing money. He started looting people. He started cheating people. And at one point of time, because the woman's demands were ever increasing, he even started killing people. So all that mattered was satisfaction of this woman. And all that mattered was, how can he satisfy this woman? So in association with this woman, Ajamil gave birth to 10 sons. And the 10th son, because he's a Brahmin by birth, he had some samskaras. So although he's engaged in all kinds of nonsense activities and he's stealing, looting, cheating and all that, but still, because of some purva samskaras, he named his son, the 10th son, the youngest son, as Narayan. And you know, when he got his 10th son, he got his 10th son at the age of 88. So all of us can imagine how he's continuing with some activities even at the age of 88. So this seems to be very improbable. But in those days, this is many, many years back. So life was good, food was pure, water was pure, there was no air pollution and all that. So at the age of 88, he has 10 sons and he names him Narayan. So now typically in any home, the youngest son is the dearmost. The youngest child is the dearmost. So Ajamil, when he goes out, then he says, Narayan, would you like to come with me? When he comes home, Narayan कुठे? जेवायला बसले तर नारायण, पाणी पाहिजे तर नारायण, चपला कुठे आहेत? नारायण, 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 नारायण. So just because his son's name was Narayan, he kept on chanting Narayan, 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 Narayan. But at the same time, he was engaging in all kinds of nonsense activities. So at one point of time, at the age of 88, after that, he was about to die. And if you can see in the picture, then this old Ajamil is there on the bed. And on the right side of the picture, there are these 3 Yamdutas who have come. So 3 Yamdutas come because they want to punish us for the sins that we do through body, mind, and words. शरीराने, मनाने आणि आपल्या बोलण्याने आपण जे काही पाप केले त्यांची शिक्षा देण्यासाठी 3 यमदूत आले. So when they came, त्याला एक सवय होती ना, he had a habit of Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. So when the Yamadutas came, he got completely terrified. And just like he had his habit, he called out, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Like that he shouted very loudly. And as soon as he shouted loudly, 4 servants, Vishnu Dutas of Lord Narayan, they immediately came there. And as the Yamadutas are snatching the soul of Ajamil from his body, these 4 Vishnu Dutas came and they said, stop! And in the history of this universe, this is the first time that the Yamadutas were ever stopped by anybody. The Yamadutas would go anywhere, and as per their list, they would catch hold of that person, death would occur, and they would drag that soul for further justice. But this was the first time that somebody had stopped them. And the Vishnu Dutta said, who are you? And looking very beautiful, but why are you stopping us? And that is the time when Vishnu Duttas, they say that actually you seem to be in charge of law and order. The Yamadutas, you seem to be in charge of law and order. But how sad it is that you yourself don't know the law. It is like, there is some criminal. He has done a lot of wrong activities. It is already proven that he has done wrong activities. And the police go there and the police put him in chains and the police are pulling him to the police van and everyone is agreeing with it. And suddenly 4 people will come and they will say, stop, you can't catch this criminal. And when the police say, nobody stops us. Who are you to stop us? So then the people who stop them, just hold on, I need to mute somebody. And when the police are asked by these people that, why are you dragging him? And they say, don't you know? He is such a sinful person. He has done all kinds of wrong activities. He should be punished. So we are taking him. And it is this time that those 4 people who are not policemen, they are wearing normal civilian clothes. But they say, oh, you look like police people and you seem to be in charge of law and order. But how sad it is that you yourself don't know what is the law. And the police people are looking, Arey, humko nahi malum hai to kisko malum hai? And then these 4 plain clothes people, they take out their badge and the badge says FBI. So they are also a law enforcing agency, but they are not this ordinary law enforcing agency that is very commonly seen. They are secret service. They don't wear uniform. They wear plain clothes, but they are at a higher level than the police. And these Vishnu Dutas, they tell the Yamadutas, actually, we know that Ajamil has done a lot of sins, but his sins, his path, not just from this lifetime, but from millions of lifetimes have been cleared. And then the Yamdutas are completely puzzled because they have a long list of his sins, and they say, how? And they say, because he chanted this name, Narayan. And then there is a conversation between them. The Yamdutas don't agree. How can the simple chanting of this name, Narayan, Lord Vishnu's name, how can it clear somebody from millions of lifetimes sins? And the Vishnudutas say, because he chanted in complete anxiety. विवश होऊन, या अजामिलाला जेव्हा तुम्ही धरायला आले तेव्हा त्याच्या जीवनामध्ये अजून दुसरा कुठलाही आश्रय नव्हता. त्यांनी आपल्या मुलाला हाक मारली, आणि जेव्हा त्यांनी मुलाला हाक मारली तेव्हा त्याला लक्षात आलं, लहानपणी बालपणी मला काही लोकांनी सांगितलं होतं की आपले खरे शुभचिंतक हे परमेश्वर आहेत. गॉड इज अवर लॉर्ड विष्णू इज अवर एव्हर वेल विशर, सो नेव्हर एव्हर फॉरगेट हिम. And when he first chanted Narayan, then he remembered all that. So the second Narayan was not for his son. The second Narayan was for the Supreme Lord. And the third Narayan was in complete submission, was in complete surrender, because he had no other thing to do in his life at that point of time. There was no other savior for him. His money will not save him. His high birth will not save him. His education will not save him. His status in society will not save him. Nothing will save him. So the third Narayan that he chanted was in complete surrender. And as soon as he chanted that, as per the Vishnu Dutas, he got completely cleared of his sins. So then what happened to Ajamil? Ajamil then understood. He saw this conversation between the Vishnu Dutas and the Yamdutas, and he said, agar 3 baar Harinam lene se, if the Vishnu Dutas come and they stop the Yamdutas, which was basically my destiny. माझ्या नशिबात जे होतं ते यमदूतांनी लिहून आणलं होतं, आणि केवळ मी 3 वेळा नारायण 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 असे उच्चारले तर माझं नशीब बदललं. So then he understood he needs to change himself. So he immediately gave up all his sinful life and he shifted to Haridwar. And in Haridwar, he stayed for 12 years. And in those 12 years, he underwent a lot of tapasya. So whatever nonsense life he had led in between, he completely repented for that. आणि पश्चाताप केला त्याचा, आणि परमेश्वराचं स्मरण करून एक शुद्ध जीवन जगण्याचा त्यांनी प्रामाणिक प्रयत्न केला. And 12 years in Haridwar, that was like a second chance for him. एक त्यांना परमेश्वराने दुसरी संधी दिली. आणि after 12 years in Haridwar, one day, one Vaikuntha Viman came there, and Ajamil recognized that these were the same Vishnu Dutas who had come to save him 12 years before. So those Vishnu Dutas were there. They invited Ajamil to sit on that Vaikuntha Viman, and they took Ajamil Brahmin to Vaikuntha. So this story is told by Shukdev Goswami to especially glorify the chanting of the holy names. So it ends with one very beautiful shloka. It says, Mriyamano Harer Nama Grinan Putropacharitam. It is mentioned, Ajamil, who was about to die, he chanted the holy name Putropacharitam. He was actually intending to call his son. And then it is mentioned, Ajamilopi Agat Dhama Kim Uta Shraddhaya Grinan. The question that is asked is, if Ajamil can go back home to Vaikuntha by chanting the names of Narayan, but actually he was not calling out to Narayan, he was calling out to his son. So then it is mentioned, Kim Uta Shraddhaya Grinan, that if you and me, we chant the holy names of Lord Vishnu, knowing fully well whom we are calling out to. We are calling out to Supreme Lord. We are calling out to Lord Vishnu. We are calling out to Lord Krishna. So then what will happen to us? This is the question that is asked in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So basically, the point is that if Krishna is so kind, even if mistakenly we chant his name, then so many benefits happen. Then purposefully when we chant his name, then what is waiting for us? And that's why you see in typical Hindu families, always they will keep the name of the boy as some name connected to Lord Shiva or to Lord Ganesh or to Lord Vishnu. नकळत का होईना, पण परमेश्वराचं किंवा परमेश्वराच्या भक्तांचं नामस्मरण व्हायला पाहिजे. सो घरी हरी नाव असतं, कधी कधी घरी शंकराचं नाव असतं, महेश असतं, कधी गणेश नाव असतं, कधी कृष्ण, माधव, केशव, मधुकर. These are very common names in typical Marathi society. आणि मुलीचं नाव काय ठेवणार? लक्ष्मी, सरस्वती, and some other names, Sita, Vaidehi, Mithila, Maithili, and so many other names. So in this way, we can understand how that culture is there. The culture is that somehow or the other, remember the Supreme Lord's names. I'll tell you another story. This is not from the Bhagavatam, but it is from one of the Puranas. At one point of time, there was this one man who had some kurmura in his hands. And as this kurmura he was eating, तिथे एक थोडी वाऱ्याची झुळूक आली आणि कुरमुरे कसे एकदम हलके असतात, तर त्या वाऱ्यामध्ये ते सगळे कुरमुरे उडून जाऊ लागले. And as those kurmuras are going, he thought, anyways, I cannot eat these kurmuras. Anyways, I cannot catch this kurmura. Let me offer it to Krishna. So as those kurmuras are flying, he's saying, Om Krishnaya Arpanamastu, Om Krishnaya Arpanamastu, Om Krishnaya Arpanamastu. And in this way, after some time, he falls into a ditch. He falls into a hole and he dies. And as he dies, the Yamdutas come and catch him. And they tell him, you have some punya and you have some pap. So what do you want to undergo first? So he says, first I want to undergo punya. So they say, okay. They take him to Swarga Loka. And in Swarga Loka, they say, 5 minutes hai tumhare paas. तुमने छोटा सा पुण्य किया है. तो बोला, अरे मैंने क्या पुण्य किया है? वो भी 5 मिनट का क्या पुण्य किया मैंने? बोला, अभी 2 मिनट पहले, when all those kurmuras were flying, then you started offering them to Lord Krishna. So that is your punya. And for that, you will get 5 minutes in Swarga Loka. So he enters the Swarga Loka and there is a lot of gardens there. खूप सुंदर सुंदर बगीचे असतात तिथे. So he goes to that bagicha and instead of taking enjoyment of that bagicha, he takes the flowers in that bagicha. And at full speed, he's plucking those flowers and he says, Om Krishnaya Arpanamastu, Om Krishnaya Arpanamastu. And in a matter of 5 minutes, the whole bagicha, all the flowers are offered to Lord Krishna. And then he comes and says, okay, 5 minutes over. And by this time, the Yamadutas, they get an update. Their app on their phone is updated. And they are told this person cannot be taken, not even to Swargaloka and not even to Narakaloka. He has to go to Vaikuntha. And then the Vishnu Dutas come and take him to Vaikuntha. So the point is, नकळतपणे हताश होऊन अर्पण केलेले कुरमुरेमुळे त्याला 5 मिनिटं जे मिळाले त्याचा त्यांनी फायदा करून घेतला. आणि बाय ऑफरिंग दोज फ्लॉवर्स कॉन्शियसली, जाणून बुजून जाणीवपूर्वक जेव्हा त्यांनी ती फुलं अर्पण केली तेव्हा परमेश्वराने बघितलं की याला मला काहीतरी अर्पण करायची इच्छा आहे. And Krishna immediately brought him to Vaikuntha. So these are some very beautiful stories that are mentioned. But it is not so easy to get the lioness milk. जसं एका सिंहिणीचं दूध मिळणं खूप कठीण असतं, तशाच प्रकारे परमेश्वराचं नाम प्राप्त करणं एवढं सोपं नाहीये. We may hear about all these stories, but to actually chant the holy names on a regular basis, not very easy. And that's why we are holding this session. Let's check out another difficult situation. So this is from Vietnam. In Vietnam, the capital city is Hanoi. And the city is so closely packed that actually the train tracks run through the city. And you can see here how this train is going to the center of the marketplace. And think about it, the tracks of this same train are going to the center of the city. And on both sides of the tracks, there are homes and, people are staying, and you can see this mother playing with the child just right next to the tracks. So seems to be like a difficult situation, is it not? Now, what if you are not born in Hanoi, Vietnam, but you are born in this city? So this is a city from Syria. Now, all of you know in Syria, Israel, Palestine, and all those places, there is a heavy war going on last 15-20 years. So this is a proper city, but it has been bombed. And this is not a war like Mahabharata, where at night there is no bombing. In Mahabharata, there were certain rules that at daytime they would fight and nighttime they would not fight. But here, majority bombing happens at nighttime. So you can see how this whole city is ruined. Actually, in Syria, there are many such cities, completely built cities, but they are abandoned because nobody can stay there and so many dangerous situations, sometimes bombs will fall and all that. so nobody can stay here. So they just abandon the cities. Now, staying in such a city, can you imagine how dangerous it is? So now I'm asking you this question, would your opinion change? Now we again show you this picture where, this family is staying right next to the railway tracks. So previously, without seeing that Syrian city picture, we thought, oh, this is not a very nice place to stay. But now after seeing at that Syrian city, then you can understand, अरे कम से कम यहाँ पे घर तो है. At least there is a place to stay here, and there are people around. And that Syrian city has very nice buildings and this and that. But actually there is so much danger and you can get bombed anytime. So one thing to learn is whatever choices we make in life are actually relative. Somebody who has 10 rupees in his wallet is aiming for 100 rupees. Now somebody who has already 100 rupees in his pocket is actually aiming for 1,000 rupees. Somebody who already has 1,000 is aiming for 10,000. Somebody who has 10,000 aiming for 1 lakh, and so on. Actually, all of us perpetually we remain dissatisfied. We can never ever find satisfaction. Mruga trushna aste na, mruga trushna sarka samadhan hai. Samadhan apल्याला कधीच मिळत नाही. And that's why it's very important for us to understand that what are we seeking in life. So I have this picture on the screen right now. Can you describe this in 1 or 2 words? What is exactly happening? Don't describe what you see, but what is the theme of this picture? या चित्रामागचा संदेश काय असू शकतो? Would anybody like to unmute and speak?
Rain dance.
Rain dance, okay, but they don't seem like dancing actually. They are in some protection.
Waiting.
They are not in the street.
बाहेर किती पण पाऊस असला तरी आपल्याला विष्णू नामाची छत्री घ्यायला पाहिजे.
Okay, तर ते काहीतरी आश्रय शोधतायत. Okay, in this picture, can you see something?
Yes.
So this is a cold mountain. You can see some ice, and in that mountain there is a cave. And in that cave, these 4 or 5 youngsters, they have lit up a fire, and they are seeking some protection from the fire. Okay, can you understand what is there in this picture? Would anybody like to speak?
Cat is hiding herself between the tire and the vehicle.
Yeah, so sometimes what happens is that if it is raining, then animals don't like water, and animals don't like cold weather also. So sometimes to seek protection and sometimes to seek heat or warmth, then sometimes animals, they go and hide in these places just to feel warm. Okay, in this picture, can anybody unmute and tell me what is happening in this picture?
There's a flood and people are helping.
Yeah, so there is a storm, there is a flood, and people are trying to take care of their costly items. Some valuables they are storing on some car and getting those valuables away from the scene. So, we saw some people seeking. So what exactly are we seeking in our whole life? Can anybody tell me? आपण पूर्ण आयुष्यभर काय शोधतोय नक्की? From these pictures?
Shelter and protection, sir.
Okay, great. So
security.
We think, we have been taught like that, कि आपण अन्न शोधतोय किंवा आपण निवारा शोधतोय. We think that we seek clothing, we want to dress nicely, or we think that actually what man is in search for is education, ज्ञान पाहिजे, or we think that actually humans, people, society is seeking money their entire life, but actually all our lives we seek shelter. आपण पूर्ण आयुष्यभर आश्रय शोधत असतो, पण आपल्याला काय सांगितलंय? Money is shelter. If you don't have money, you don't have shelter. So that's why we seek money. And we have been told, do you want to earn money? Yes. Why? Because money is shelter. Okay, so if you want to earn money, where is money available? You say, I don't know, you tell me. Then they say, the more education you have, the more money you have. And the more money you have, the more shelter you will have. Oh, is it like that? So then I'll go for higher education. Actually, it's extremely rare that people are interested in higher education. It's extremely rare that people actually want money. Actually, what people are looking is for protection and shelter. And in recent times, especially in COVID times, it has been proved that COVID does not have any likings or any dislikes, any favorites or any biases. It has attacked poor people also, and it has attacked rich people also. It has attacked uneducated people also, and it has attacked educated people also. It has attacked hungry people also, and it has attacked overweight people also. So, especially in these COVID times, we can understand how one lesson for all of us is that if we don't have shelter in our lives, and we may have education, we may have money, we may have clothing and food and everything else, but actually our lives will not be fully complete lives, and we'll be seeking something else. So on the screen is the last words of Lord Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, shloka number 66, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. He says, whatever sins you have performed, aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Whatever pap you have performed, I can free you. Moksha ishyami. And then he says, ma shuchaha. So any one of you, if you have Gita at your home, you can check out this shloka later. What is the meaning of ma shuchaha? The meaning of the word ma shucha is do not fear. भिऊ नका तुम्ही. का बरं? कारण जर तुम्ही परमेश्वराची शरणागती स्वीकारली आहे तर परमेश्वर तुम्हाला सगळ्या दुःखातून मुक्त करू शकतात, बाकी कोणी मुक्त करू शकत नाही. सो देयर इज दिस मूर्ती ऑफ लॉर्ड विष्णू इन कांचीपुरम. साधारण महिलांना कांचीपुरम हे साड्यांसाठी प्रसिद्ध आहे, पण कांचीपुरमला एक भगवंतांचे खूप मोठं सुंदर मंदिर आहे, त्यांचं नाव आहे श्री वरदराज. वरदराज म्हणजे काय? जे वरदान देणाऱ्या लोकांचे राजे आहेत, म्हणजे ते सगळ्यात मोठे वरदान देतात. तर त्या वरदराजांचा एक हात असा आहे, वरद हस्त म्हणतात त्यांना. आशीर्वाद देणारे त्यांचे हस्त आहेत, आणि त्या आशीर्वाद देणाऱ्या हस्तावर काय लिहिलंय माहितीये? मा शुचः. सो एनी वन ऑफ you ever you go to South India, you go to Kanchipuram and you go to this temple, then you can see the words written on the palm of Varadaraj. Ma Shucha, do not fear. Whatever you are afraid of, do not fear. तर जेव्हा आपण परमेश्वराची शरण घेतो तेव्हा आपल्याला एक माहिती पाहिजे, निर्भयता आपल्यामध्ये येते. सो गेल्या मंगळवारी श्री नरसिंह चतुर्दशी होती. नरसिंह देवांबद्दल आपण ऐकलंय, भक्त प्रल्हादाबद्दल आपण लहानपणापासून ऐकलंय. तर ते नरसिंह प्रकट कुठल्या दिवशी झाले होते? गेल्या मंगळवारी चतुर्दशी होती. चतुर्दशीच्या दिवशी ते प्रकट झाले. तर या चतुर्दशीच्या दिवशी प्रल्हादाला ते त्यांचे शब्द खरे करण्यासाठी प्रकट झाले. हिरण्यकश्यपू त्यांचे वडील प्रल्हादाला म्हणतात, तुझे कुठे आहेत रे परमेश्वर नक्की? ते म्हणतात सर्वव्यापी आहेत. मग या खांबात आहेत का? हो, या खांबातही आहेत. आणि केवळ प्रल्हादाने सांगितलंय की या खांबात आहेत. म्हणून यशोदानंदन कृष्ण किंवा कौशल्यानंदन राम हे ना प्रॉपर आई वडिलांकडून आले ना, तेच विष्णू, तेच रामचंद्र, तेच श्रीकृष्ण एका खांबातून प्रकट झाले. तर खांबनंदन नरसिंह. तर एका अर्थाने अशी विचित्र त्यांनी परिस्थिती का निर्माण केली? तर आपल्या भक्ताचे शब्द पूर्ण करण्यासाठी. आणि त्या भक्ताच्या जीवनामध्ये जर तुम्ही बघितलं, आयुष्यभर त्याचा छळ झाला, आयुष्यभर छळ करण्याचा प्रयत्न तरी केला कमीत कमी, आणि त्याला भीती निर्माण करण्याचा प्रयत्न केला. पण प्रल्हादाचा एक गुण होता, पूर्ण आयुष्यभरामध्ये तो कधी भ्यायला नाही, त्याला कधी भीती नाही वाटली. का बरं? कधी त्याच्या जीवनात काही वर खाली काय झालं, हात जोडून नेहमी परमेश्वराचं नामस्मरण करायचं. सो मेनी ऑफ अस माइट feel that what is the use of all this? So I told you how the holy names gives us shelter. The holy name gives us protection from all our sins, and the holy name will actually make us fearless. म्हणून जे नित्य नियमाने परमेश्वराचं नामस्मरण करतात त्यांना त्यांच्या जीवनामध्ये भीती राहत नाही. So this is something that I have experienced in my life, that I had a lot of fears in my childhood, but slowly over a period of time as I am chanting these holy names, I have experienced fearlessness in my life. एक ना आत्मधून एक आश्रय प्राप्त होतो, आंतरिक स्तरावर एक निर्भयता प्राप्त होते. So what do you see on the screen is something called as a storm shelter. So what they do is, in some parts of America, there are regular storms. वादळ येत असतं. So what they do is they create this kind of a bunker system. आपल्या घराच्या समोर असं बांधतात आणि तिथे पायऱ्या आहेत खाली जाण्यासाठी. And whenever there is a storm, then what they do is they ask people to get inside these storm shelters. And as soon as the person goes inside, he'll close the door. आणि वर पूर्ण जोरात वादळ असतं. कधी झाडं उडतायत, कधी गाड्या उडतायत, but that person is safe. So जेव्हा आपण कुठल्या अशा एका गोष्टीची शरण घेतो जी या जगामध्येच नाहीये, ऍक्च्युली हा जो स्टॉर्म शेल्टर आहे हा जमिनीत आहे, त्याच्यामुळे त्याच्यावर वाऱ्याचा प्रभाव होत नाही. तशाच प्रकारे परमेश्वर हे या जगाचे नाहीयेत. परमेश्वर या जगा पलीकडचे आहेत. वैकुंठ या जगाच्या पलीकडचे आहे. सो whenever there are any problems in this world, if you try to take shelter of something of this world, it cannot protect you. जेव्हा वादळ येईल तेव्हा वादळापासून वाचवण्यासाठी जर आपण स्वतः एका झाडाला मिठी मारली, एका वृक्षाला मिठी मारली, तर साधारण वादळ असं चालेल. पण मोठं वादळ आलं, वादळ पण याच वरच्या भागाचं आहे, पृथ्वीवरचं आहे, आणि झाड पण पृथ्वीवरचं आहे, तर ते तुम्हाला वाचवू शकणार नाही. जर तुम्हाला वाऱ्यापासून वाचायचं असेल तर जमिनीच्या आतमध्ये प्रवेश करायला लागेल. सो सिमिलरली when there are these strong storms in life, then you cannot just catch hold of ordinary protection. In some situations maybe money will help, in some situations friends will help, but in a pandemic situation, in a huge situation, then nothing helps. At that time actually the only shelter is something that does not belong to this world. And the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he does not belong to this world. So if we do this Nama Smaran, then it is like going into a storm shelter. And as soon as we enter a storm shelter, then there is no more fear. So, all this knowledge is like receiving gold coins. But imagine this person, he has so many gold coins in his palms. Can he walk like this on the street? If he walks like this on the street, then people will call him a fool. Why? Because these gold coins have to be protected very nicely. So the holy name of the Lord, परमेश्वराचं जे नाव आहे ते पण खूप शक्तिशाली आणि खूप मौल्यवान आहे. इट इज ऑल्सो लाईक दिस गोल्ड कॉइन्स. सो आपल्याला पण जर हरिनाम मिळालं असेल तर त्या हरिनामाला आपण सांभाळून ठेवायला पाहिजे. आपण चांगल्या अशा लोकांची संगत केली पाहिजे जे आपल्याला या मार्गावर मदत करतील, अँड हू विल ऑलवेज एनकरेज अस. इफ वी हॅव गोल्ड इन अवर हँड्स अँड समबडी टेल्स अस, अरे हे काय पितळ घेऊन फिरतोयस, तर आपण म्हणून नाही हे तर सोनं आहे. मग तो म्हणाल याला विचार. मग त्याच्या मित्राला विचारलं, अरे हे सोनं आहे की पितळ आहे? तो म्हणतो पितळ आहे. 4-5 वेळा जर असं आपल्याला म्हणाले तर आपण ते सोन्याची नाणी कदाचित फेकून देऊ आणि मग कोणतरी घेऊन जाईल त्याला. तर कधी कधी आपल्याला लुबाडण्यासाठी कधी कधी कोणी असं म्हणू शकतं, अरे तुझ्या हातात हे सोनं नाहीच आहे, हे तर पितळ आहे, चमकणारं पितळ आहे. सिमिलरली वेन वी हॅव रिसीव्ड दिस होली नेम्स, then it is quite possible that people will discourage us and people will say असं काही नसतं, तू आपलं कर्तव्य कर. सो कर्तव्य तर करायचेच आहेत, पण कर्तव्य करता करता जसे अर्जुन आहेत. अर्जुन is a warrior and he did not want to do his kartavya. So Krishna did not encourage him to not do his kartavya. Krishna told him, no, you have to do your kartavya. But as you are doing your kartavya, please always remember your relationship with me. म्हणून आपण आपल्या जीवनातले सर्व कर्तव्य करताना नेहमी परमेश्वराला स्मरून त्यांच्या आनंदासाठी, त्यांच्या प्रित्यर्थ जर आपले कर्म केले, आपले कर्तव्य केले, so that's like an amazing combination that we can do. And that is our message to all of you, that please take to this chanting of the holy names. And in this way, when we lead a good life, when we do our duties properly, when we take care of our responsibilities properly, and we also connect to the Supreme Lord, then that will give us success. So I'll stop here and I will request Dr. Kate Madam to share her experiences. She has also been practicing this mantra meditation just like I also do this mantra meditation. And after Madam shares her experiences, then all of us, like we agreed last time, for 5 minutes, we will have continuous mantra meditation, and all of you are invited to participate in this and actually experience what is this mantra meditation. So before that, I'll request Kate Madam to kindly speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hello, everyone. Today, I really thank you for being present in spite of your busy OPDs in this COVID time. And for the past couple of sessions, we heard from Nanda Dulal Prabhuji about types of meditation. And finally, today he told us importance of mantra meditation through a beautiful story of Ajamil and how this mantra meditation gives us shelter. So today I want to just share why and how I accepted this mantra meditation. It all started in 1995 when I was doing my post-graduation at JJ Hospital, Mumbai. At that time, I heard lectures about mantra meditation at Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Mandir, Girgaon. Who were doing their practice very sincerely and at the same time chanting the holy names of the Lord regularly and sincerely. And that really got me thinking that is it something weird? Rather, it is what we have been hearing from saints like Tukaram Maharaj and Ramdas Swami, because they all were able to balance their life very nicely. This slowly I became convinced, and since then it became part of my life. I want to share 2 points basically why I accepted this. First being eternal account, and second is eternal medicine. So being medical professionals, we do have so many accounts like saving account, joint, personal account, our business current account, then HUF account, DMAT account, and we do work hard to put balance in all these accounts. Please don't misunderstand that it is, of course, it is important to do so. Even both of us are working for the same. But we should know, but all these accounts, they have an expiry date, and that is death, and which is certain. You just cannot carry forward this account, but there is an eternal account. Do you know what is this eternal account? This is the account of holy name. You just keep on depositing 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Whatever you have deposited is going to get carried forward with you. And in this life also, it is going to give you n number of benefits. Today we heard from His Grace Nanda Dulal Prabhuji how the holy name gives us shelter. Just add on to my personal experience. My father, Dr. Jayaprakash Bhosle, he was a roaring medical practitioner in Satara district with a huge OPD. He got everything, name, fame, money. But unfortunately, in 1990, he met with a vehicle accidental death. And that incident really changed my thought process, which was superficially before. And when I heard the lectures, I could correlate. I could relate with some of my personal experiences in my life. This was my first point, okay, eternal account. And my second point is eternal medicine. Like in medicine, we have specific treatments for the specific diseases like tuberculosis, we have specific medicine. For malaria, we have specific medicine. But just think on it. Do we have a right medicine for 6 diseases of our mind? Like how the Vedas describe 6 diseases of our life. Anger, greed, lust, illusion, and envy. I just want to enumerate few of them in a medico's life. Just see. Like in a doctor's life, it is really important to control this. At least, not fully, it is very difficult to control, but at least in some extent, So by doing mantra meditation, that is chanting the holy name of the Lord, we can really do this. We can at least try to do this. For example, say if a doctor controls his anger, that will help him. If you try to control the anger, that will help him to improve his relationships within the family members, and also it will help him to improve his relationships with his patients too, him or her, of course. And if a doctor is able to control the greed, that I want more, it will surely help him to help his patients by not exploiting them. Okay. Third thing is, if a doctor is able to control his envy, which of course it is a human nature, but still for some, by doing this mantra meditation, up to some extent, at least we can try to control this. So in this way, if a doctor is able to control his envy, he won't feel jealous about anyone. That will certainly improve the quality of life. So these are my 2 points, the eternal account and eternal medicine. And this made me, accept this mantra meditation. And this is the part of my life too. Just think, how this environment pollutes, relationship changes, things depreciates, food ferments, and with our age, our health also declines. So nothing is permanent or stable. But the holy name of the Lord is stable, that is Shashvat. And at the same time, it is pleasant too. It gives us shelter. So let's take some time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to take this medicine. And let's start depositing in this eternal account. So thank you so much. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Madam, for sharing your experiences about how this mantra meditation has helped you in your life. And now I'll request all of you, for those who can unmute themselves, please unmute yourself and we will chant this mantra. I'll just pick it out for you in a very slow way. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I chanted it very slowly so that you can understand the mantra. Yeah, wait for some time. So now we'll chant together and all of you can, the basic point is you speak very clearly, you utter very clearly, and whatever sound you are creating with your own lips, Hare Krishna, like that, you hear with your ears. So mantra meditation is not just to produce sound. Mantra meditation is whatever sound you produce, you have to hear it with your ears. If you can do these 2 things, that is success. So speak very clearly and hear very attentively. We are going to do this for around 5 to 7 minutes. So we'll start together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Okay, so I have muted everyone on purpose because I want you to take a feedback. Is it becoming too noisy that thousands, many of you are chanting at the same time, and because of Zoom, because we are doing it online, so there is a lag in the sound. So I'm requesting that I will chant for 1 or 2 minutes and just try to hear what I am speaking, because too much noise means, it's not really becoming fruitful. So I'll just chant. You can keep yourself on mute and hear this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. So if you see, I have this mala in my hands and I chanted 108 times. So it roughly took me 6.5 minutes. So in this way, just concentratedly speaking the holy name very nicely, very clearly, making that sound, not just silently chanting, because when we chant silently, it's no longer active meditation. So you chant properly and you hear attentively whatever you're speaking. So anybody would like to unmute and share your experiences as you were hearing this active meditation, chanting of the holy names? Would anybody like to share? Yes, please unmute and speak.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you very much for sharing this mantra meditation. It instantly calms our mind. All our thoughts, we become so peaceful. And Prabhuji, we feel a sort of shelter and we feel a lot of positivity. Prabhuji, I also have a question for you. While doing this mantra meditation, since I'm also practicing this, I get random good creative ideas which I don't actually get when I even sit to think about them. I don't know what is the reason behind this. And am I doing this mantra meditation properly, or please give some tip regarding this, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so nice question. See, it is basically, our mind is always sleeping. It's not really very active. And even if it is active in the wrong direction. It makes us do wrong things. It gives us wrong thoughts and all that. So just imagine, we are chanting the names of God. These are not ordinary names. These are the names of Lord Ramchandra. These are the names of Lord Krishna. So immediately that dirty mind is cleansed. Just like, the room where you are sitting, you must be having windows in that room. And those windows will have glass panes. So if there is dust or dirt on those glass panes, then anytime you see outside, then it looks very dirty to you. And it is quite possible that you might think, oh, the whole world is dirty. But actually, one day when your friends come to your room, then they will say, Arey Vikram sir, आपकी खिड़की के ऊपर इतना कीचड़ क्यों है, आपकी खिड़की के ऊपर इतनी धूल क्यों है? एंड दैट इज द टाइम व्हेन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड द वर्ल्ड वाज ऑलवेज क्लीन, but actually the glass windows of my room, they are unclean. And the day you realize that, you will clean them. And as soon as you clean the glass on your windows, then you can see the same world in a different way. So, not all of us are really used to this cleaning the windows concept. So there is some dirt in our mind. There is some dirt in our heart. And because we analyze anything and everything, we see not with our eyes, we see with our mind. हम अपनी आंखों से नहीं देखते हैं, हम अपनी मन से देखते हैं. If we don't like somebody, whatever good he or she may do, we don't like it. And if there is somebody whom we really, really like, and that person will do some wrong things, and then somebody complains to us, अरे इन्होंने तो ऐसे कर दिया. And then what do we say? We say, अरे नहीं नहीं, वो हमेशा अच्छे रहते हैं, वो गलती से एक बार कभी उन्होंने कुछ गलती की होगी. So actually we don't see with our eyes, we see with our mind. And that is where the dirt is. So when we chant the holy names, the first effect of this active meditation, especially the chanting of the holy names, is that the dirt in the heart is cleansed. And as soon as the dirt in the heart is cleansed, then as you are mentioning, very positive thoughts come, very nice creative ideas come. And this creativity is not the creativity that will harm the world. See, somebody who crashed that plane into the Twin Towers of Manhattan, he was a very creative person. क्या ढूंढ के निकाला उसने? 2 बिल्डिंग को अगर तोड़ना है तो क्या करेंगे? एक प्लेन को लेके वो बिल्डिंग में क्रैश करेंगे. This creativity is not the harmful type of creativity. This creativity will be something that will really help the world. And before helping the world, it will definitely help you. So this is the creativity that is needed in the world. This is the positivity that is needed in the world. This is what we are missing in our lives. How to use our God-given intelligence in a proper constructive way. And as you rightly mentioned, the first effect of this is you are saying you are getting a lot of positivity, you are getting a lot of creative ideas. So please continue chanting and you will see how a lot of good changes happen inside, and you also start appreciating there is so much good in the world outside also. But the mind, if it is unclean, then the spectacles don't allow you to see the cleanliness outside. So thank you very much. Does anybody else want to share your experiences when we were doing this chanting?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Anybody else wants to share? Okay, thank you for your enthusiastic participation. I'll share my experience. Actually, when I begin my chanting, it's a struggle. It's not so easy when I begin. So for the first, out of the 6 minutes, I can say first 1.5 minute, at least 2 minutes, I can safely say, is a struggle, because that is the first time I'm trying to discipline my mind. Before I was chanting, my mind was running here and there and thinking about this and that and thinking about what to do tomorrow and thinking about the different things that I did during the day today. But after you struggle with your mind for the first 1.5 or 2 minutes, then it becomes a habit. थोडी एक सवय लागते मनाला की उच्चारण स्पष्ट करायचं आहे आणि जे आपण उच्चारतोय स्पष्टपणे त्याला ध्यानपूर्वक लक्षपूर्वक श्रवण करायचं आहे. So after the first 1.5 or 2 minutes of struggling, then at least 2 or 3 minutes there is a lot of good chanting, I can say. And then at one point of time I realized that now the chanting is going to get over. अभी खत्म होने वाला है, अभी लास्ट कुछ बाकी है. So again my mind started running, because now it was thinking अभी खत्म हो जाएगा, अभी खत्म होने के बाद में क्या करेंगे, आता तू काय करशील संपल्यानंतर. सो सुरुवातीचा जो काळ असतो तो थोडासा चलबिचल असतो आणि शेवटचा जो काळ असतो तो पण थोडा चलबिचल असतो. मधला जो काळ आहे तो आपल्या हातात असतो. आणि ऍज यू बिकम मोर अँड मोर एक्सपर्ट, ऍज यू स्पेंड मोर अँड मोर टाइम चॅटिंग, देन पहिला आणि शेवटचा जो काळ आहे, जो चलबिचल काळ असतो आपल्या मनाचा, तो पण मग थोडा स्थिरावतो. पण सुरुवातीच्या काही जेव्हा आपण प्रयत्न करतोय तेव्हा आदर्शवाद असू नये, की सुरुवातीला माझं मन खूप विचलित होतं, असणारच आहे, कारण आजपर्यंत आपण मनाला कधी शिस्त लावली नाही. वी नेव्हर ट्राय टू डिसिप्लिन अवर माइंड. So this is the first time we are telling the mind, no, 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 don't think here, don't think there, don't think in the future, don't think in the past. Right now, just focus on the sound. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Like that. So that's something that I would like to share from my side. So can we stop them now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm really grateful to the organizers for organizing this meditation sessions. I'm also grateful to all the participants on a Sunday evening. You are here till 10:10. And next time we'll take up another topic and do this journey together. So thank you so much. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jai Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much.